The Portland Trail Blazers have had it rough. In 1984, they chose off-injured center Sam Bowie. His injuries would severely hamper his career, and it happens, but the issue was that he was the number 2 pick. The issue was what happened next.
The Chicago Bulls pick Michael Jordan of the University of North Carolina.
So fast forward 23 years. It's 2007, and the Portland Trail Blazers have the number 1 pick. They get to select between 2 standout players. One, a franchise big man with injury history. The other, a dynamic scorer.
The Portland Trail Blazers select Greg Oden from Ohio State University.
You know, history has a funny way of repeating itself. Greg Oden was a prodigy. From an early age, it was clear he was a basketball savant. He first hit the scene in a big way with Indiana's Spice AAU squads. These teams are still legendary among the AAU circuit. Why? Well, here's a picture. There's Oden. This guy here you might recognize, that's Mike Conley. Over here is Daquan Cook. And later they would add Eric Gordon, Josh McRoberts. They won. A lot. And Oden got used to that winning. He led his high school to 3 Indiana State titles. Also a few awards. Let's go ahead and list them now. To the surprise of no one, Oden graduated as the clear number 1 prospect in the country. Where would he go? What programs, fortunes would he swing? Well, that might have been the surprising part. See, Oden went to Ohio State, but he didn't go alone. No, he was part of the Thad 5. This class included 2 of Oden's AAU teammates, Mike Conley and Daquan Cook, and was rounded off by another top 50 recruit in David Lighty and top JC recruit Othello Hunter. And they got busy. Ohio State dominated the college basketball world, finishing 30-3 with both the Big Ten regular season and tournament titles. They entered as a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament and rode their talent to the final, where they lost to a great Florida team that featured Joakim Noah, Al Horford, Corey Brewer, Maurice Spates. By the way, how good was college basketball that season? I mean, you had Florida, Ohio State, Aaron Aflalo at UCLA, Jeff Green at Georgetown, and they all made the Final Four. Plus you had Kevin Durant tearing up the NCAA. About that. Both Durant and Oden declared for the NBA draft, giving scouts a nightmare job. Now, you might think it easy to have 2 franchise players to pick from, but make sure you don't get it wrong. Don't be that guy that chooses the wrong one, because it could change everything. In Durant, you had a freak of nature, a wing scorer with all the moves, the ability to get to the rim at will, and a pure shooting stroke. And oh yeah, he's 6'11" with a 7'5" wingspan. He projected the potential to be the best offensive force of a generation. And then there was Greg Oden, a true 7-footer with size. He was very athletic and fluid. He could run the floor, fill the lane, execute roles, and could become a dominant offensive force with some pro refinement, but his true greatness was on defense. Simply put, Oden was a defensive wizard. He combined his raw size and athleticism with excellent IQ and impeccable timing. He was a rare talent that affected the opposing offense the second he stepped foot on the floor. He was a natural on defense, reminding people of Tim Duncan and Bill Russell. His absurd measurables and athleticism made him seem the heir apparent to Duncan as the next big man. And you know what? Portland agreed. But there is a problem. It turns out his body was a little bit more cursed. Before his rookie season began, he had microfracture surgery on his right knee. He'd missed his entire rookie season. He came back the next season and flashed some of the potential that had scouts salivating, but then in February, he chipped his kneecap in a collision. The following season, he would fracture the same bone in December and miss the rest of that season. Complications from this injury effectively ended his prospects as a star. I'm going to show the injury now. I must warn you, it is difficult to watch.
Up on defense.
Scola gives Brooks the pick. Greg went down and his knee is... Holy cow, Portland doesn't need this.
His injuries had piled up. It was even said that one of his legs was longer than the other. His body was in complete shambles. Oden would be released by the Blazers in 2012. He sat out the entire 2012-13 season and caught on with the Heat for the 13-14 season. He played sparingly and again couldn't catch a break as the Heat, coming off a championship in the season he set, fell to the Spurs in the finals. His NBA career was over. Just like Sam Bowie before him, Oden's career was not entirely uncommon. But just like Bowie, Oden would go down as a massive miss, largely in part due to the success of Kevin Durant. Hindsight is 20/20, but every accolade, milestone, and accomplishment that Durant collects drives the knife in deeper. You cannot fault the Blazers. It was a healthy debate at the time. But you also cannot ignore the results. In 2015, Greg Oden signed with the Jiangsu Dragons of the CBA and averaged a solid 13 and 13 with 2 blocks. More importantly, though, he played 25 games. His life in the spotlight and the subsequent fall has had a profound effect on him. He saw the highest of highs, but also went through depressing times. He often refers to himself as the NBA's greatest bust. He struggled with alcohol. And all this came to a head when he pled guilty to battery against his girlfriend in 2014. As of right now, Oden is working with the basketball program at Ohio State while earning his degree. What could have been? This is something Oden is going to have to learn to live with, and something we as fans will have to come to terms with. Oden was once a generational talent, and the Trailblazers seemed poised to be the franchise of the future. They quickly fell apart, and left us all wondering if Oden was the greatest that never was. Hey guys, thanks for watching. So, what do you think about Oden and his legacy? I feel like nowadays people are only judged at the NBA level, and we forget when people have great amateur careers. He had a great basketball career, even if it didn't translate to the NBA. He was a legendary AAU and high school player, and a legendary college freshman year, but people only remember him for singing the Blazers when they could have had Durant. And that's just kind of crazy to me. Anyway, if you like this video, please like and subscribe and share, and let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you have any other basketball what ifs that you want to see covered, feel free to leave those too, and maybe I'll get around to them. Until next time,